Hello everyone and welcome back to Spoiler Warning, featuring myself, Tom Colohue, where we cover breaking wrestling news, including plenty of exclusive stuff you won't find anywhere else. Our headlines today: the new deal and push being planned for LA Knight. What's going to happen with Io Sky in the Women's Championship? The phased return for Charlotte Flair, Asuka and Bianca Belair. John Cena's role in the elevation of LA Knight. A little discussion on Shanky and the clickbait that has been used in and around his name by some major news operators and how really questionable the whole thing is. Moving on from CM Punk, but there's still plenty more to talk about before we can do that because of how things are being released. We're going to look at the reporting on that as much as anything else. The Saudi Arabia show, which will be coming in early November. Drew McIntyre's future, comments that he has made with exclusive news as to exactly how long his contract will be going for. Rhea Ripley here to replace Becky Lynch as a top star on Raw. Becky Lynch's role in NXT upcoming. Gable Steveson being a flight risk for the WWE. Thunder Rosa, news that she's cleared. And promises made by Kairi Sane, which are preventing her from now appearing in the WWE. In addition to that, of course, as per usual, I will be answering as many of your questions as I possibly can to try and make sure that we get as much information as we can. I take great pride in making this the most well-informed chat in wrestling, and a large part of that is trying to answer as many questions as we can. So be sure to get those in. There's a few that have already popped up. A couple of people already saying hi. Let me say hi to the people saying hi. Hello Daniela. Hello Joe. Hello Ken Thompson. Hello Zane. Hello Sai. Hello Ashley. Hello Gomar. Hello Khalid. Hello Joey. Hello Jack. Hello Bailey. Hello Michael. Hello Moxie. And hello Wiggly. Great start so far. Great start. Hello Daniel Berry as well. Welcome to the show. So many of you. And thank you to everyone who's already hit like. If you haven't done that yet, please do consider doing so. Hello Jamie, how are you? So the first question in the list there is from Ken, saying, my friend Dean Dance said LA Knight should be the one to beat Roman for the title. Who agrees? Not me. LA Knight is too far near the end of his career. I don't see world championships in his future. For me, if it's going to be someone, it'll be someone a little younger, a little further down the card. I still am hoping for Solo, but we'll see how that goes. Welcome Daz, welcome Marcel. Just as a quick heads up, it's very hot here. Very hot, hence my shiny nose. And we in the UK are not really prepared for heat, so we don't really have much in the way of aircon. In addition to that, in order to keep the room private, in my office the door is closed because other people are in the house, and there's a ring light right here, plus a PC that is working really hard at my feet. I'm very hot. That's all I want to say, and just point out that if I do have to vanish at any point, it's because I'm very hot. Very hot. Ashley Watson says, has Gable Steveson been released? Nope. Zane said, I just had a rant. I don't want to see Rhea Ripley replacing Becky Lynch as a top name. I want to see Becky Lynch still be a top name. We'll see how that goes. Joey says, do you have any news on the contracts that are coming up next year? Some, yes. Jack says, WWE Superstar Spectacle, and has given us the results to that. If you're not here for spoilers of the results, please do not read that comment. Bailey says, hello Tom, interested in that Rhea Ripley headline. And Michael says, hi Tom as well. Welcome guys. Wiggly says, watching the end of the rugby. Okay. Moxie says, yo Moxie. Joe says, hi Tom, how are you doing today? Just want to say I love the videos you do. Appreciate that, thank you. Eric says, I really hope that once she returns they don't put Liv in the tag team division because the titles are cursed. Started with Raquel and Aaliyah. She gets injured, then after a while Raquel and Liv get hurt. Liv Morgan's future is back in the tag division. Spider-Boss says, hello Tom, why do you think the Trish versus Becky feud didn't work well? Because it went on far too long. It was an 8-month feud, which is too long to just get to a match where two people are going to fight, and we all know the result. Zane suggesting that people give the show a thumbs up. Thank you, Zane. Appreciate it. We do have 50 viewers and 22 likes. If you can, please do remember to do so. Marcel still hopes it's Cody beating Roman. Daniela says the weather in the UK is so hard to handle. 33 degrees tomorrow. Well, around that. Here in Blackpool, it will be calming down at least a little bit. We've had the worst of it over the last few days. Khalid is burning in London. Mark says, I'm here just in the background. Hope you had a good week and weekend. I did indeed. Wednesday to today, we were at a wedding up in the Lake District, which was a lot of fun. Dad says, do you know if Cena is on tonight? Yes. No, he's in India. Then says, are you drinking cherry cock? No, I'm not. I'm drinking cherry coke. Moxie says, Tom, who do you see dethroning Roman? I hope Solo, but I think it's going to be Cody. I've said exactly that for a few months now. Eric says, Ronda Shayna turns right away, then Liv again. Yep, it's been a rough time for those titles. Razar says, hi Tom, ready for some news? Plenty of news incoming. Nubis here says, hello Tom, how are you doing today? Doing very well, thank you mate, just very, very hot. Spider-Boss says, sounds as a joke on TV, but the women's tag team titles are really cursed. Yeah, it's not great, is it? Moxie says, it is hot in the UK, wish we had this weather in the summer break, it was cold and so rainy. Not true for here, I'll tell you that. Not true at all. No Zen, I don't drink cherry Pepsi, I drink cherry Coke. Joey says, Drew said in an interview had time added onto his contract. Will it still be coming up next year? More on that shortly. Daniela says, SmackDown getting a trade compensation for Uso going to Raw. Do you reckon it's Cody? We discussed that at some length on Monday. Spoiler warning. It was funny, Joey. It's okay. Razar says, on Raw they referenced the curse on the women's tag titles. I was hoping this would lead to something with Alba and Isla. Are there any plans for them? Not at this point in time, no. They're there to fill out a division. They're not necessarily there to be pushed. Gomar says, hope you're having a good one, Tom. So far, so good, Gomar. Same to you. Will says, I trust your reports. Do you know if WWE will make Kairi a singles wrestler or back in a tag team with Asuka again? More on that shortly. Kairi. Yeah, Asuka does have a section and a headline. So too does Kairi. Yeah, some rainy days for Spider-Boss. Eric says, it's a shame. I thought they wanted Liv to be a top star. They did. They do. She has a long career ahead of her, and as soon as she stops picking up injuries, they will start to push her. If she's not going to be winning world championships, she might as well be winning tag championships. Khalid says, do you think Drew McIntyre is teasing a heel turn? More on Drew McIntyre later. Dad says, who do you think will face MJF at the next pay-per-view? Maybe Roderick Strong? Few options. And Joey says, is it the Stardom shows that are preventing Kairi from coming back? More on that later. So, first headline is as regards LA Knight. Yeah. So a big push is being planned for LA Knight, not necessarily to the very top level, but still to at least the secondary championship level and competing for those. The match at Payback was the beginning of the push, which was started with his win at SummerSlam. The WWE have been waiting for things to line up and also making certain promises. Triple H in particular is making promises of strong booking for LA Knight. Now, LA Knight, to my knowledge, had no interest in leaving. He's very happy with his position on the card right now and the reactions that he's getting from fans. So Triple H has offered him a deal and he is going to be signing it. It is not a limited day contract. It is not believed that it's likely to be his final contract. It is something that will have championships attached to it, and Triple H has made a number of promises that mean good booking in the near future. Promising stuff. Spider-Boss says, do you think Liv's 2022 push was a little bit rushed? Depends. It really comes down to whether or not you believe she should get better, because she had a championship reign, she just wasn't so good that she could beat Ronda Rousey clean. That makes sense to me. That sounds like Liv Morgan. That sounds like where she should be on the card. She then went on to have tag team championships. Again, pretty good spot to be at. She wasn't the top star in the division, but I don't think she should be. So it depends what you believe. Daniela said, do you see Shayna being a challenger for Rhea soon? Nope. They are still rebuilding Shayna, and I think her moment will come, but I think Becky Lynch will be in the way first. Razar says, isn't LA Knight already being pushed? A little bit, yes, but when I'm talking about a push being promised, it's bigger than this. And also when it comes to being pushed already, I did report that the push would start immediately after SummerSlam. They were just waiting for other things to be available, such as, for example, The Miz and John Cena. Ladies Guy says, hey Tom. Hello, Ladies Guy. Joey says, BWE reported that LA Knight is working on a 5-year deal with a big push promised with it. That is exactly what I've just said. Yes. Carmelina says, so Tom, is Jey Uso feuding with Dom soon, or is it going to be Jay, Kevin and Sammy, do you think? My predictions for Payback have over 1,000 views already, which is a pretty good sign, considering the most recent videos, I think was for Money in the Bank, only got about 300. So that's a great sign at the moment. You by all means should check that out, because I do think you'll enjoy it. Ladies, Guy says, are you watching Superstar Spectacle tonight or SmackDown? SmackDown. I don't believe we can watch Superstar Spectacle. Gordy says, what's up, Tom? With the merger expected closes coming Tuesday, what changes do you see coming other than cost cutting? So most of the changes have already been brought into play. The vast majority of the changes are revenue increasing rather than cost cutting. And this is one of the reasons they're trying to get a deal right now with the UK for Wembley. It's going to be big money and they believe that they can convince the city of London to pay them rather than, much like AEW had to pay London itself. I don't know the nuances. I have someone speaking to me about it, and I very much appreciate their help. But when it comes to the nuances, I struggle to get a second source on a lot of it. And that is the job. Daniela says, Shayna fist pumped Zoey Stark after their match on Raw this week. Maybe they could join forces for the tag division. I think that is the beginning of the WWE getting out of Shayna's way and accepting that maybe she's going to be a face for a while. Ken says, do you agree with Chelsea Green? Justice for Chelsea? No. Bailey says, checking over at YouTube, your subscribers are way up. Bailey, I'm going to describe exactly what happened there shortly. There are reasons for that, and I do expect to keep going with that. Spider-Boss says, somehow I see Kevin Owens doubting of Jey Uso due to their past history. That certainly seems like it's being suggested. Daniela says, Shayna could work her way up and Stark could feud with Trish. I find that more likely. Khalid says, I really enjoyed your Fastlane prediction. Really enjoyed it, mate. Yes, sorry, Fastlane, isn't it? It was Fastlane predictions. Thank you. Appreciate that. Let's take this opportunity then, before I get to my next headline, to talk about where we are right now with the YouTube channel. For those who don't know, the YouTube channel within the last 5 days went from 3,000 subscribers to 4,000 subscribers, adding a full 33%. We are 67% higher on views this month than we were this time last month. 67%. Which is just over 2/3 higher than what we were expecting. Views are fantastic. In addition to that, there is also some active YouTube advertising going on. Now, I've explained this before, but I just want to go into a little bit of detail. I did promise a while back that any donations to this channel would go directly into the growth of the channel. Now, that's come out in a number of different reasons. In a number of different ways. I've upgraded the PC. I might spend some of that money, to be completely honest, to get a fan for the room. I do feel that is an investment in the office itself. Next up is editing software. I'm going to basically improve my editing software and look at a graphics card upgrade for the PC. All of this will improve the quality of the show, the streams, and the videos. I promised you that, and that is what is being delivered. In addition, though, I can also afford to spend a little bit of money on YouTube advertising. Now, I've had good luck with YouTube advertising previously when it comes to certain videos, and I've chosen videos which are having very, very good click-through rates to push. That being the Mercedes Money video and the CM Punk side of the story video. They're doing extremely well, as you can undoubtedly tell, to a point where I actually, in promotions, you get to know exactly how many subscribers you gain by promotion. So, if I take away all subscribers gained via the advertising, I go down from the 4,030 I have right now to 3,224, which tells you just how many I got via that. I feel it should be worth pointing out, though, in the last 7 days, we started at 2,637. So even without any of that advertising, we have gained nearly 600 subscribers, going up from 2,637 to 3,224. That puts us on track to smash our 5,000 target before the end of the year. What I expect to happen with this show is that after the advertising ends, we will start to normalize. We will start to see subscriber numbers coming back down again because people who subscribe for a particular video aren't necessarily 100% behind all of the different content that we do here. But right now, the reason views are up 67% is because they are enjoying the content that we do here. The reason the video for the Fastlane predictions got more than 1,000 views, whereas the most recent one got about 300, is because people are enjoying what we do here. People are coming back after they subscribe, and people are going to stay. If those people stay, it increases my revenue, meaning in future I can continue to do so. This advertising runs for another 11 days. I expect to reach a point where I'm in the high 5, low 6,000s for subscribers. At that point, I just have to make sure those subscribers, including all of you, are getting value for money. I do recommend YouTube advertising to anyone who is considering becoming a YouTuber It does seem to be worth it once you're monetized. The investment will be paid off in about 3 months of actual revenue. So I will get it all back in a very short space of time, particularly because of the increased revenue from the advertising. And it's doing a good job. It's getting people in who are interested in wrestling, which is half the job. Also, as a quick aside, I hit 4,000 subscribers today, guys. I'm stunned with how well things are going recently. Even before there was any advertising, that CM Punk video was rolling. Absolutely rolling. Very happy boy right now. Eric says, I completely understand they want her to be fully recovered this time, this being Liv, since she re-aggravated it. Also, in other news, do you think Becky wins on Tuesday? More on that shortly. Sai says, another reason for the increase in subs, Tom turns out great content. Thank you, Sai. I appreciate that. The fact that we've gained nearly 600 subscribers without factoring in any of that advertising, for me, really does prove that point. I appreciate it. Spider-Boss says, it's weird to get used to seeing a babyface Charlotte Flair on TV. I was used to heel Charlotte. Me too. Spider-Boss says, yesterday PWInsider reported AEW fired Ace Steel. I miss when AEW hired Ace Steel back. Maybe they didn't. Khalid says, Tom, I'm very happy for you. Your channel's doing good. Glad you're getting more subscribers. Thank you kindly. We don't really see many new people, new faces in the live shows, but that's because I'm not advertising on the live shows. I'm advertising on the videos. Ultimately, videos are where the actual income is. So, Joey says, do you think Bron Breakker will get banned from NXT after he injured Von Wagner? No. Sean says, hello, Tom. How is your Friday? Going very well, thank you, Sean, apart from the fact that it's hot. Vijay says, hi, Tom. Any news yet? We just had a long discussion about YouTube and where we are right now. We've spoken about LA Knight and answered quite a lot of questions. Spider-Boss says, if you want Mercedes money news and accurate wrestling news, spoiler warning is the place. Thank you for that, Spider-Boss. I have certainly developed a reputation as the Mercedes money guy. Rana Roscoe says, hey, Tom, are AEW waiting until Mercedes money is cleared to announce she's signed? Yep. Razar says, so happy to see your channel continue to grow. Keep up the great work. Also cool you're sharing your tips on YouTube growth. Not a lot of people are that transparent. Anything I can do to help people grow, I will absolutely do. I've been asked previously by people in the Discord if I will give some coaching, and hopefully people that I have provided coaching for have found it valuable. I really hope that's the case. There are other little things that I have done that I potentially could do in future. The raid system is very useful, and I do think it helped when it comes to Steve of SCW Wrestling Channel get over that final hurdle. Even if it is just one show where we can send 30, 40, 50 people over, I do think that that little bit of watch time can make a massive difference, and I hope to do that for more people. Gomar says, congrats on 4K, Tom. Thank you, Gomar. Daz says, well done on 4K. Thank you, Daz. Seriously, 5 days, 1,000 subscribers. I'm stunned. Joey says, do you know if CM Punk is still trying to pitch ideas to WWE for a return? Not at this point in time, no. Leisha Miller says, hey, Tom. Good afternoon, everyone. Missed a couple of spoiler warnings. Is the plan for the Usos to meet up with Jay now at Raw? Sorry if you covered this already. No worries, Leisha. The plan is not for that. Jimmy Uso is not planning to go to Raw. He is very much still SmackDown. Spider-Boss says, I'm still trying to understand who gets benefit from the Becky versus Tiffany feud on NXT. Every single person working in NXT, including the WWE. As I said earlier, they're trying to increase their revenue streams, and a very good TV deal for NXT means that they likely won't have to fire anyone. Moxie says, 4K subs. Nice, you went from 2K to 4K. Congratulations, Tom. Thank you, Moxie. Sean says, Becky's going to be on NXT this week. She'll be facing Tiffany Stratton for the NXT Women's Championship in the main event. Since it's the main event, do you see a title change? More on that shortly. Rana Roscoe says, another reason for your subscribers uptick, Tom, is because you've been right and your takes and are reliable. Thank you, Juan Orozco. I've started putting together what I've been talking about for a while, which is a list on Twitter, including links of every report that I've made recently, which has been proven 100% factually correct. It is a long list. Very long list. I do want to thank KJ, who's been dropping into the Discord and letting me know things that other people have confirmed that I've reported when they go live and viral. So yes, I have been putting that together, and hopefully it'll further prove the point. What I'm intending to do is launch it without actually putting anything into it, so announce what I'm doing and then give it like an hour before I then start, because the trolls will make it go super viral in order to basically say, ha, see, nothing, you've done nothing, even though they know better. Thank you, Marcel, appreciate that. King Azza says, hey, Tom, do you think Cody will get booed if he wins the Royal Rumble? Yes and no. Joey says, are they planning to continue the Judgment Day KO Sami feud, or will they be given new opponents? The feud will continue. Vijit said, did Stone Cold get booed when he won 3 out of 4? No, but that was Stone Cold Steve Austin. It's a completely different situation, and 25 years is a long time. Dimitar says, outside of potential matches with Saraya and Jade, have you heard if anyone else Mercedes wants to face? The only reason you've mentioned Jade there is because I already reported on this one. Sean says he'll be traded to SmackDown for Jay. We covered this at length on Monday's spoiler warning. Spider-Boss says, do you think WWE still want Roxanne Perez on the main roster? I don't get why she's still on NXT. Because there is no room for her in the main roster at the moment, they very much do want her. 23 Fresh says, hi, is there any chance of AEW bringing back CM Punk? No. Ken says Mercedes might show up a Victory Road to be in Trinity's corner. Certainly possible. Joey says, are they doing this match to elevate Tiffany higher on the card? Yes, and also NXT. Spider-Boss says, I saw the WWE Endeavour news this week, and I remember I saw it first on spoiler warning. Another example of what we are trying to do here and what we're so far doing very successfully, reporting the news way ahead of anyone else, so that when it does finally break and become viral, you'll know where it came from. I appreciate how many of you are putting me over on social media recently as well. It is a huge help in gaining credibility on my name. Jordan says, great to see your channel growing, mate. Thank you, Jordan. Appreciate that. Next up, Io Sky. The plan for Io Sky is essentially to get people out of her way. As she is currently the champion, the plan essentially is to build her up without the 3 or 4 big names on SmackDown being particularly involved. Bayley and Charlotte right now are doing what they can to help get her over, with Shotzi as a positive benefactor of that. Io Sky is going to be essentially continuing to be involved in matches, picking up wins and building a highlight reel while they establish her as a long-term credible competitor and someone who can consistently win championships, whichever side, to do whatever they need to get a big name star. Io Sky is believed to be one for the future who will be at the top for the next 5-10 years. As regards everyone else in the match on SmackDown tonight, which will be Shotzi and Charlotte versus Bayley and Io Sky, there is a phased return currently in play for Asuka, Bianca Belair and Charlotte Flair. Charlotte Flair did take a couple of weeks off and now she is back in action. Her job right now, particularly as a face, is to work with other faces, maintain that level as a face, and build towards the eventual Bianca Belair heel turn, where it will be Charlotte Flair versus Bianca Belair. They're taking Bianca Belair off TV as much as anything to ensure that Bianca Belair is booed and Charlotte Flair is cheered. They have history of Charlotte Flair being attacked and they cheer the wrong person. When it comes to Bianca Belair, she will be returning at some point soon, working with Bobby Lashley and the Street Profits as a heel. The news did break about the Street Profits and Bobby Lashley being heels, first broken of course on spoiler warning. As regards Asuka, they're giving her a little longer because that match is going to be a big one. Asuka versus Io Sky is something that they've been building towards for a while. It could well be a WrestleMania match or a Royal Rumble match. Either way, they'll give it a bit of time. Kairi Sane also is woven into that story, and I can say she is likely to be involved with all of the competitors at the top level of SmackDown. Io versus Asuka versus Kairi has been mentioned previously, making Kairi Sane a legitimate competitor for a Royal Rumble win. Royal Rumble win. Would you be excited for a triple threat between Asuka, Io Sky and Kairi Sane, or would you rather have Asuka versus Io Sky one-on-one? Khalid says, Tom, glad to follow you on Twitter. Appreciate that, mate. Moxie says, Rhea versus Io would be an impeccable match. Those days are coming. Spiderboss says, when WWE wanted fans to boo the heel who attacked Charlotte, it didn't work as WWE wanted. Accurate. Daniela says, WWE have announced tag champs Finn and Damien versus Butch and Ridge Holland in a non-title match. They're essentially doing what they can to really get these guys over. Ken says, what did you think of The Miz just doing a skull-crushing finale on an invisible John Cena? I found it hilarious, personally. Dad says, do you know what's next for Solo, Tom? My prediction for Fastlane is already live. By all means, check that out. I hope you enjoy that. When it comes to beyond that, Solo Sikoa versus Roman seems guaranteed. Sean says, Meltzer gave Trish versus Becky steel cage match 4 stars. Becky fans went off about it, and they're entitled to their opinions. Sean wants both. Mark wants the triple threat. Spider-Boss wants a triple threat. Seems like we're in a very good place for the triple threat. Spider-Boss also says heel Becky in 2018 was heavily cheered when she attacked babyface Charlotte. I'm glad you all got what I was saying there. JJ says, hey Tom, hope you're having a good day. Did I miss the Becky news? No, you did not. The room is still filling up. The Becky news is incoming. Noob says, I'd rather have Asuka and Io Sky in a one-on-one match at WrestleMania. Vegeta says triple threat should be fine. Bailey says, is Io basically replacing Asuka as a championship level performer long term? Yes, she is. Asuka is not looking likely to have a serious top level championship run anytime soon. It is believed that the current contract may well be her last. There are discussions ongoing around that, and the WWE do want to keep her, but they can't guarantee long term that they will have stories for her. Eric wants a triple threat at Mania. Io versus Asuka versus Kairi. Daz also wants a triple threat. Ken says, will we get Jimmy versus Jay? If the WWE wants to make that happen, they can make that happen. And Razar says they can do both Asuka versus Io in the triple threat after. Certainly I think for the Royal Rumble, Asuka losing to Io Sky and then Kairi saying wins the Royal Rumble would be a lot of fun. Will says if WWE have Io Sky versus Asuka versus Kairi at WrestleMania, it would be a big deal. Vegeta says Asuka isn't wanting to retire, right? Not to my knowledge, no. Joey says, do you think they will save Bianca versus Charlotte for Mania? My WrestleMania predictions are also already live on the channel. I do implore you to check them out. Adrian says AJ Styles will remain in WWE in 2024 or he will go to AEW. To my knowledge, AJ Styles is very happy in the WWE, has very little interest in going to AEW. As far as he's concerned right now, he's on the money contract, basically getting the money part of his career as he wraps it up to spend more time with his family. Spider-Boss says, just an opinion, if Becky wins the NXT Women's title, I hope this lets Roxanne Perez win the title back. Noob says, heel Bianca Belair is going to pop very hard, which I thoroughly agree with. We currently have 69 people watching the show, nice, and only 38 likes. If you can, please remember to hit that thumbs up and subscribe if you haven't already. We currently have 4,030 subscribers. Our target by the end of the year is 5,000. I hope we can hit that, and if you haven't subscribed yet, you can certainly be a part of making that happen. Joey says AJ will probably have more time on his contract since he was injured this year. Ken says I'd like to see WWE versus AEW. You will not get that wish. Vegeta says AJ wants to spend more time with Wendy. Okay. Danielle says the OC are kind of dealing with Bloodline on SmackDown right now. OC I wouldn't say they are, but AJ is. Next up then, LA Knight has been endorsed by John Cena backstage and front of stage too. The moment at Payback when LA Knight had his arm raised by John Cena was added tension to a potential feud between them. John Cena, upon his return, which will last until the Saudi Arabia show in November, he may well be working Saudi Arabia this year, will be looking towards a match with LA Knight. Upon returning, he basically handed the WWE a list of people he wanted to work with. LA Knight was top of that list. I said it a while back, and it has already been proven to be true. So that's another one, a exclusive report that suddenly started going viral when someone else reported it afterwards. When it comes to John Cena, he wants to work with LA Knight. He wants to help build LA Knight. It's created additional opportunities for LA Knight, including this match with The Miz, which wouldn't necessarily have been the way they went if not for John Cena. Wiggly says, hello, I'm here. Gosh, it's very hot. True. Very true. One says, hey Tom, do you ever see Cody Rhodes returning to AEW if Punk goes back to WWE? There is no connection between one person going to AEW and one person going to WWE. There is not even the slightest of connections there. Joey says, do you see them doing AJ versus Roman at the Saudi show or War Games? I think War Games is the most likely moment when we could get potentially a Bloodline versus the Club situation. I think the Royal Rumble is the most likely spot for a singles match. But Saudi Arabia is right there, so why not? Vegeta says, Samoa Joe was classic back then, indeed. Spider-Boss says, last guy that was endorsed by John Cena was Cody, and things haven't gone well, except they have, because Cody is still someone that everyone is talking about, and he's constantly getting airtime and big pops. This is going to be a bit of a weird one. I want to talk about clickbait in wrestling. If you've been paying attention to the Twitter sphere, the wrestling news-a-thon recently, you'll have seen a particular headline which I really want to pick apart. I'd love to get your opinions on this. So many different news outlets reported that a WWE star is returning after more than a year-long absence to wrestle a superstar spectacle in India. And that megastar is Shanky. Shanky. I quite like Shanky. I think he's a talented wrestler. Quite large and decent dancer. He's got physicality to him. He's got a smooth moveset. When you say a WWE star who hasn't wrestled in more than a year, you don't think Shanky, do you? If I said to you, a WWE star is returning who hasn't wrestled in more than a year, who do you think it is? Because I promise you, you didn't think it was Shanky. This is the nature of clickbait, and it really winds me up, because I will get people telling me that I'm clickbaiting titles like this about a replacement, Rhea Ripley replacing Becky Lynch as a top star on Raw, when what I'm saying is true. What I'm saying is true. What they're saying, describing Shanky as a WWE star, with all due respect to Shanky, is completely misleading. Just wanted to point that one out. Vegeta, that's the name I was thinking when I first saw it. Randy Orton. It suggests Randy Orton will be the one because he's sure as hell a WWE star. And then it's Shanky. It also happens where you see former WWE champion. And it just ends up being someone like the Great Khali, who is technically a former WWE champion, or at least a World Heavyweight champion. It's the definition of clickbait when things like this happen, and I really don't enjoy it. Joey says it'll probably be at Saudi since Roman always works those shows. He does. His next title defense will be at the Saudi show. He will then be working War Games. A lot of laughs. Joey says Shanky will be back in catering after the Indian show. Unfortunately, yes. Spider-Boss says I've seen a lot of clickbait when it comes to Mercedes Money news and CM Punk news. Yeah, essentially they go for whatever name they can clickbait and just use whatever buzzwords they can. I don't like it. Michael says Shanky would be the first person to come to mind. Very educated fan there, Michael. Spider-Boss says I thought the WWE star hasn't wrestled in a year was Goldberg. Bailey says, Sasha is what they want people to click through. Michael says, aren't all WWE talents superstars? Ugh. Razar said if they add Bianca gets added to the Lashley group, would it be a short-term thing or long-term? Every time they add a female wrestler to the faction, they get lost in the shuffle and become a valet. Well, that's clearly not true. Have you seen Zelina Vega? Have you seen Rhea Ripley? I don't really see what you're seeing there, mate. There's also female factions, like Damage Control. I don't see what you're seeing. Adrian says, any chance of Alex Hammerstone joining WWE next year? Not at this point in time. The WWE is still conducting a review as to how much they are spending, so they are not really hiring right now. One says, clickbaits have made me disappointed for my high hopes. Thanks to your channel, I can count on you. Appreciate that one. I try to cut through the clickbait here, and that's why I have to highlight things like that, which are just massively misleading. Joey says they probably did it for Jinder and Inder's share too, since they've been off TV for months. Yeah. Wiggly says if WWE talent are superstars, what do WWE refer to theirs as? Wrestlers. Spider-Boss says Mercedes Money denying Meltzer's clickbait about her this year was quite fun for me. It's always fun when they clap back. Always fun. JJ says, do you think Becky will win Tuesday or do another match at No Mercy? More on that shortly. And Ken says, I hate clickbait rubbish. I agree. One thing I really am trying to do with this channel... Thank you, Wiggly. Appreciate that. One thing I am really trying to do with this channel is make it so that I can cut through a lot of the crap. I think we do more rumour killers here than rumours. Certainly I have to ask if A-Steel actually was employed by AEW at any point, because apparently before we even saw anything from him, he was fired again. Raises questions for me. This is what we do here as much as anything. When the reports were out that it was going to be Brock Lesnar versus Gunther at WrestleMania, what did I say? No, it's not. It's Drew versus Gunther. Now, admittedly, they added Sheamus to it, but that's because Drew McIntyre was a bit banged up. Certainly wasn't Brock Lesnar. We do a lot of rumour killing here and a lot of rumour reporting, but we try and make it as clear and obvious as we can what is fact and what is fiction in the wrestling world. Pete here says, sorry I'm late, Tom, still recovering. You all have fun. Good to see you, mate. Hope you're feeling better. Wiggly says, I like the Bray Wyatt-esque shirt. It's not necessarily meant to be a tribute for Bray Wyatt. I have a dedicated Bray Wyatt shirt for that, which I will continue to wear until probably my own personal removal from this plane. Joey says, PWInsider reported Colohue has been signed since July, but there's no creative plans for him. Didn't Fightful report that AOP have also been signed for months now? It's a good life, isn't it? Sean says, Becky had to miss the indie show due to passport issues. Yes, she did. Joey says, a clickbait headline was started by good old Zero News. A clickbait headline is entirely up to the individual outlet. Each individual outlet will make their own decision as to what they say. And they all said it. KJ says, what's up, Tom? Sorry I'm late as well. Damn. Welcome, KJ. How you doing, mate? Spider-Boss says, I certainly don't like SRS from Fightful because he attacks people who don't give him credit and because he always leaks details about backstage problems. I know you've had your own encounters there, Spider-Boss. Bailey says, is there a ceiling to get to the top tier of the women's division? There's 4, Rhea, Bianca, Becky, Charlotte, maybe room for Io. It makes it difficult for the likes of Liv Morgan, Dakota Kai, Zoey Stark and everyone else to move up creatively. That's true, and that's how it should be. There is, after all, also a ceiling in the men's side, which is Roman Reigns, Seth Rollins and the like. Adrian says, maybe we'll be... No idea what you're saying there, Adrian. As regards Sean Ross Sapp, I'm fully aware that he does get furious when people don't credit him for his reports. As you may expect, I find that ironic. The dude says, seeing how many people fell for Randy Orton returning at a house show is a good indicator of why most of these clickbait accounts keep at it, which is not an unfair comment. I still don't enjoy the practice, though. I still think they're screwing people over. Ken says, is there any fans of Champagne Sing? Joey says, I wonder if Nick Khan is opening up the purse books since there's been reports of new signings recently. Very true, very worth considering. I mean, as I've said previously, and as has now been confirmed by the people who reported that there was a hiring freeze, there isn't a hiring freeze in the WWE. There never has been. At no point has there been a hiring freeze in the WWE. The ones who did report there was a hiring freeze are now reporting that people have been signed for months. What the hell? Spider-Boss says, looking how WWE booked the Trish versus Becky feud, I'm glad Mercedes didn't get a feud with Trish. I mean, the moment could still come, just not necessarily there. Vegeta wants Shanky versus Lesnar at Mania. And Daniela says, a skyscraping dancing Shanky. Saudi Arabia are back with the WWE in early November in the build-up to War Games. It sounds like it's going to be a bit of a disrupting show because War Games is going to be quite close to it. So it's going to certainly throw some the cat amongst the pigeons a little bit. Roman Reigns is expected to work the show, and John Cena has been offered a match there if he would like to take it. Personally, my dream for that show would be John Cena versus Gunther. The only problem is I wouldn't be able to see it. Drew McIntyre, on interview before Superstar Spectacle, certainly suggested that he had no plans of leaving the WWE. I have a little bit of news to share here. The negotiations for his contract have started, but they have not started of any real intensity at this point in time. As I've mentioned previously, he's not particularly there for extra money. He wants a push. He wants championships, and this was confirmed several months later by PWInsider. Now, when it comes to Drew McIntyre, my expectation is that he wants top-level championships, that being WWE Championship and, of course, the World Heavyweight Championship. I don't think he has a chance of being the one to dethrone Roman, though he has at different points been told by the wrestling media that he's going to be the one. And at Clash of the Castle, I certainly was vehement that Drew McIntyre was not going to win the championship, as it proved to be. When it comes to McIntyre, there has been time added to his contract, particularly for the time off he took between Money... Was it Money in the Bank? Yes. Between Money in the Bank and WrestleMania, that brief time off allowed him to rest up and heal a little bit. As I reported at the time, it was a planned break to give him time, and he would be returning in time for a match one-on-one against Gunther at SummerSlam. The match against Gunther at SummerSlam and the loss essentially was his payment for taking the break. He also had extra time added to his contract, another 2 to 3 months, which should take him through to close to SummerSlam next year. His contract was due to end in April. This gives him May, June, and possibly part of July. So it doesn't quite take him to SummerSlam, but there is an ongoing negotiation there. The intention is that they can kick into gear these negotiations at WrestleMania time around then, before there is ever a particular risk of actually losing him. Drew McIntyre, by everyone who knows him and everyone who's speaking backstage, does not want to leave the WWE, but if he's not offered the championship that he's looking for, he will find them elsewhere, and he knows full well that there are many companies who are very, very interested. Now, so say, Tom, quick question. Have you heard anything about brand warfare being a part of Survivor Series, maybe NXT? A little bit, yes. War Games seems to be what they've gone with, but when it comes to... When it comes to NXT, they are building it pretty heavily. If it can guarantee them even more when it comes to a TV deal, they will 100% give them a very good showing for Survivor Series. Joey says maybe SRS should start giving other people credit instead of whining. Irony. Spiderboss says another Saudi pay-per-view. Do you think Logan Paul will return? Not likely for this one. I think they're going to save him for closer to the Royal Rumble, but I do think potentially he might be in a War Games match, which would be fun. Razar says, does Saudi have control over what matches get booked for the show? They have some control. They make requests. It's up to the WWE if they will get what they're looking for. Most recently, there have been a lot less requests. From what I can tell, the Crown Prince is just not that interested in actually being involved anymore. Spider-Bass says, some of my Chilean peers didn't believe me when I told them last year that Roman was going to beat Drew. They should have. Joey says, wasn't it Meltzer who reported that Drew was unhappy and wanted to let his deal expire? Meltzer loves creating fake drama. Well, the drama always seems to be in the favour of AEW, doesn't it? Thank you, KJ. Bailey says, what do you see as the most visible changes, if any, Endeavour will make to the WWE TV product? As I say, most of the changes that Endeavour want have already been brought into play. Sean says, do you know if the report of LA Knight signing a new deal is true? That was the first piece of news. Please zip back to the beginning of the show and you'll find plenty more detail of it. Joey said, is Saudi requesting for any legends this year? They have not negotiated anything in particular as regards matches as of yet. Next up, our headline story, Rhea Ripley. Becky Lynch at current is the top female name on WWE Raw, matched only by the top male name, which is, of course, her husband Seth Rollins. They are the top names. The intention, however, is to continue the work that has been done to bring the four horsewomen a little less prominent than they have been previously. Their job now, essentially, is to work with a number of other individuals to bring them up to championship level. You will look at, for example, Bayley working with Io Sky, Charlotte working with Bianca Belair, etc., etc. The chosen people are very clear. Bianca Belair has been built for a long time, Rhea Ripley is actively being built as we speak, and Io Sky's build has just started. But the intention is that Rhea Ripley will eventually replace Becky Lynch as the top female star on Monday Night Raw. This would then allow Becky Lynch potentially to move to SmackDown. When it comes to the possibility of horsewomen being involved on different brands, they are trying to split them up and have done for a long time, making sure that the four horsewomen are never on one brand. Now, of course, they only have 3, which is limiting what they can do, but a horsewomen triple threat has been mooted, and we could potentially see them all on one brand to make that happen. Rhea Ripley, however, will be the one to replace Becky Lynch at the very top level, so that Becky Lynch then can move into the limited date contract and the limited date options that she's looking for. Part of this, of course, is that Becky Lynch is appearing in NXT. She's likely to appear at No Mercy in at least some capacity. I suspect she may well become champion and then lose that championship further down the way. When it comes to Becky Lynch and NXT, the plan is very simple: to help build NXT into as good a force as it can be so that they get a very strong TV deal. That increase in revenue will allow them to ensure that everyone who works in NXT should not be looking behind their or looking over their shoulder, worried that they will be losing their job. Increasing revenue streams is what Nick Khan is working on, it's what Vince McMahon is working on, it's what Triple H is working on, and it will guarantee the job losses are not around the corner. Becky Lynch right now is helping NXT to secure its future. So tune in. You never know. We currently have 73 people watching and only the 46 likes. 4 more, just 4 more likes gets us up to the 50, and I would very much appreciate if you were able to get me there. It does really help boost the growth of the channel, and as you know, this channel's been doing very well recently. Long may it continue. Pete says, good to see the Dudley boys getting Legends contracts. I agree with that. I'll be interested to see what they do with them though. Spider-Boss says, please someone correct me if I'm wrong, but this week the Wrestling Observer said they tried to be nice with CM Punk since his return in 2021. They did say that, yes. They did say that. And this gives me the perfect opportunity to talk about what I'm planning to do, which is move on from CM Punk now. Now, CM Punk and the name have been very lucrative for this channel, as you guys know, and there is still plenty of news coming out. But at this point, the reporting around CM Punk is starting to become toxic. There is a possibility of incoming lawsuits, which means that it's going to be very difficult in the near future for me to comment on any of these reports. But it does seem like both sides are building their case using the media rather than any sort of legal system. This really does muddy the water and makes reporting about CM Punk very, very difficult. I really do hope a lot of active reporters as regards CM Punk take a lesson and stop reporting on CM Punk, at least for a little while. I've reported everything that I can at this point. Going forwards, unless something is literal huge public interest, I am moving on from CM Punk. Ken says, will Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn return to Saudi Arabia shows in the future? Yes. Naz says, I just noticed you hit 4K. Let's go. Thank you, Naz. In 5 days, I went from 3,000 to 4,000. Wonder what will be like in another 5. Joey says, so Endeavour hasn't made any changes to creative over the revenue stuff. No, Endeavour has no control over creative. Pardon me. No control over creative other than Vince McMahon. Bailey says her new look didn't help change that perception. Who are we talking about? I'm confused. Sean says, I think Becky wins the NXT Women's Championship. Becky with the NXT Women's Championship would be very helpful to NXT. It would get eyes on NXT and the product, which is the plan. Thank you, Bailey, for clarifying. I just missed it a little bit. I appreciate you guys hitting the app when you're talking to each other. It just basically tells me, skip over that comment, that you're talking between each other. And I appreciate it. Keep those conversations going between you because that gets the chat rate up, which means more people find the channel. Joey says, I could see them giving Becky the Dolph Ziggler role of going down to NXT for a few weeks to work with the young talent. She will be back in a big money match come WrestleMania, but for now, giving back is what she wants to do. I don't think people are recognising that quite often Becky Lynch is asking for this. Danielle says, I reckon Priest will eventually cash in on Rollins. I don't see him cashing in on Roman. Yeah, he won't. Rosal says, I thought Rhea and Bianca have been the top 2 for a while. No, Becky Lynch is still there, mate. While Io's getting that push is cool, I wonder who else would join. It seems like they're trying with Raquel and Zoey. Zoey Stark has certainly impressed a lot of people, as I've been reporting for a while, and as a couple of days after I reported it, was reported by Sean Rossap of Fightful. Joey says, do you think those journalists could get tied up in this lawsuit? Yep. KJ says, CM Punk. Tom, I know you've mentioned it before, but the stories that are coming out about the Elite and Punk are definitely being leaked by those guys themselves, and that is your opinion. I just want to make that clear. Because that makes it very, very difficult situation if you start shouting that as fact. That is not proven fact. You need to be careful. I appreciate you saying that because it gives me a good opportunity to use that as an example. You could be dragged in if you say stuff like that. Personally. Zane says, Bully Ray's in Impact Wrestling. Is WWE okay with that with the Legend contract? Yeah. Adrian says from Trust Me Bro source, I heard CM Punk is Impact Wrestling bound. JJ says, only way Rhea can replace Becky is like you said if they switch her brand, but doesn't that mean Seth will move too? Maybe. Rosal says, I can see Becky winning the title and it being involved in her future feud with Shayna. Daniela says, if Becky does win it versus Tiffany, then would Tiffany win it back soon after? I cannot sit here and give you the results of every single match in WWE. JJ says, I wouldn't mind Grand Slam Becky, but I get the feeling she's not re-signing her contract next year. Why? Why would you think that? Spider-Boss says, I'd love to see Rhea certainly selling a little bit the moves of her opponents. She literally looks like a young Brock Lesnar, especially how WWE book her. She sold as much as she could for Raquel Rodriguez. Unfortunately, something did occasionally go wrong. Dane says, will the Elite go to WWE? No. Vijay says Becky is definitely re-signing, which I also believe to be the facts. Gable Steveson has been removed from NXT. He has not been released from the WWE, to be clear on that one. When it comes to Gable Steveson, he's being considered something of a flight risk in the WWE right now, because whenever they try to put him into a storyline, he suddenly has other things he wants to do. And he does have clauses in his contract that allow him to make appearances elsewhere. This is a large part of the problem. He basically manages his own schedule, meaning that they're nowhere close to a point where they can even say he's done any, really, of the contract that he agreed to. But his contract does have the option to work elsewhere, and he is taking advantage of that. The WWE naturally suspect he might be taking advantage of them as well. Gable Steveson is a flight risk. Eddie says, can you give any update on Nick Aldis? Nope, never have been able to. I don't think I ever will be able to. Adrian says, is PWInsider the most reliable source right now? The most reliable source is whoever you believe to be the most reliable source. Joey says, do you think there'll be big interest in MJF next year if he hasn't signed a new deal? Yes. Oh, absolutely. But I don't see him leaving. Sean says, Becky will re-sign. Alexa might re-sign. Keith Sean says, what happened to Wardlow? Does he have some backstage heat? No, he's just not being used right now. Spider-Boss says, how bad was Gable Steveson in WWE that he got booed in his match with heel Corbin in NXT? He wasn't bad, he just wasn't popular. There are many reasons for that, many of which you can look up. Zane says, do you think it's right MJF mentions WWE and AEW TV? He can cut his own promos and do whatever he wants. Joey says, I wonder why Vince gave him a big contract like that. He must have thought really highly of Gable. He did. He did. P says, my only reliable source is HP. Razar says, I'm surprised this is what it took them to give on Gable Steveson, not the criminal charges he's had. Got out of date. Okay. Thank you, Sai. Razar. This is a site and a YouTube channel that can be shut down because of comments that you make like that. I need to be very clear here, because my livelihood can be threatened if you make statements without cause behind them. Now, obviously, it's extremely unlikely, but I've said it before. This is a very well-informed chat. Until something is factual, it is speculation, and please phrase it as such. Okay? Though I do advise people to look up the allegations that have been made and then learn about the possibilities. You cannot state with any accuracy what has or hasn't happened. I know a lot of people are going to be hearing this particular speech from me because I need to make it really clear, and I appreciate you, Razar, giving me an opportunity there to make clear the situation. Thank you, Sai, as well. Keyshawn says, who would you want to see Punk face if he comes back to WWE? A brick wall. I would not want to see Punk wrestle in the WWE. I didn't really want to see Punk wrestle in AEW. Vegeta says, Triple H is interesting. Will Ospreay is what on a level of 1 to 10? 10. Always has been. Always been the same for Vince. If Will Ospreay wanted to come to WWE, he would be immediately ushered in. Bailey says, is Baron Corbin's current run in NXT beginning to hurt his career at this point? Not really. Sean says, Saraya has been getting backlash for talking about Emi Sakura. I think there'll be a match between them. Yes. I can confirm there's going to be a match between them. Spider-Boss says, Jey Uso and Sami Zayn reuniting on Raw was very oozy. Yes, it was. Keyshawn said, is Danielson going to start booking Collision? Nope, because Tony Khan still exists. And Joey says, is it true Impact has interest in Punk? No. They want to make money, but it's CM Punk. Flight risk. Also, they genuinely cannot afford him. Brad said, is Roman going to be on SmackDown? Nope. Thunder Rosa has been medically cleared and is planned to return to AEW shortly. I reported this the day before All In. The day before All Elite Wrestling's All In, I reported that she was in London, she was travelling, and shortly afterwards, on Spoiler Warning, the following Monday, I reported that she had been cleared. Thank you, Sean Ross Sapp, for confirming my report. And finally, that leaves us with, where is Kairi Sane? And where is Kairi Sane? Still in Japan. The contract negotiations are ongoing. She has not formally signed anything as of yet, but a deal has been struck that everyone is happy with. William Regal has been at the forefront of making this happen. So when it comes to Kairi, she is expected to return to WWE once she has met the promises and commitments that she made outside of WWE to different promotions in Japan. Kairi Sane will be returning to the WWE. She is not formally signed as of yet, so things could potentially change on that, but a deal has been struck that everyone is happy with. Chris, how you doing, mate? Says the unreliable source is Tom Colohue. Thank you kindly, appreciate that. Also says, by the way, just putting this out there, I called Sammy and Jay burying the hatchet would happen on my Raw watch-along, and you're welcome to do so, mate. That Raw watch-along, by the way, is on our local establishment's YouTube channel, which I suggest that people check out. Eddie says, did you see Endeavour pay lots of money to free agents? That's... Nick Khan is in charge of the finances. Endeavour, they're not involved in that. They may make some edicts, as it were, but they don't pay anyone. Thane says, do you know when R-Truth will return to the ring? As soon as there is a storyline reason to do so, which makes it very unlikely. Adrian says, when will Roman Reigns leave WWE for Hollywood? When he wants to, when he's not needed in WWE, and when he hasn't actively got a contract. Pete says, catch you all later, have a great SmackDown, and hopefully I'll watch along next week. Good to see you, mate. Keyshawn says, who's the bigger draw? Jeff Jarrett or Chris Jericho? Jericho, not even a fair question. We will be live later on tonight for WWE SmackDown. We will be watching it in its entirety from start to finish, as long as I don't melt in the process. You can see the shine on my forehead already. It's very, very warm. Sean says, did you like the new Raw intro? It's alright. And Daniela says, who do you see being viable challengers to Finn and Damien for the titles? Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens. Joey, I don't know what that means. I don't know anything about Nick Aldis' situation. I've always been very clear on that. Until then, I'm going to wrap us up there. We will be live in just over 2 hours for SmackDown. I hope to see as many of you there as possible. There's been spoiler warning. I've been Tom Colohue. You have been fantastic, and I'll see you all very soon.